Hey YouTube, it's the Paper Witch here. Here to do a book review on Everyday Magic by Dorothy Morrison, Spells and Rituals for Modern Living. So I found that this book was extremely helpful. It's actually really good for beginners. It starts off by right off the bat. Let's get past the table of contents here. Past the intro. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So it starts right about talking about the ancient arts and the modern solutions. Magical boosters. It goes right into talk about, atmosphere in your working environment. Talks about the moon phases, and gives you all the info on the moon's phases, what types of spells you would do under those phases. The sun phases as well. This is one of the first books that I've read that actually have the sun phases in them. It talks about focus. The winds, east winds, south winds, north winds, west winds. It talks about the days of the week. Not a lot of books that I've read have talked about that. As well as color. And words, explaining like rhyming and things like that. Symbols. And then the gifts of nature. It talks about, if you're going to take something, make sure you give an offering, things like that. Charging herbs. Talks about, and then gives you the lists of herbs and like sage, for instance, made famous by Native Americans for use in smudge sticks. Sage smoke. Smoke removes negative energy, and its residue from areas, buildings, and people. Try it too for spell work involving good health, fortune, wisdom, long life, and wishes. So it gives you, like with mugwort. Mugwort says many magical practitioners call mugwort the witch's herb because drinking the infusions or smoking the dried leaves brings an altered state conductive to increase psychic awareness. The infusion is also used as magical wash for scrying, mirrors, crystal balls, and pendulums. So it tells you what these can be used for. Charging flowers. This is the first book I've ever read that talked about what to use flowers for, which is great. And the same with trees. Harvest, and this is where it talks about harvesting from trees. What you can do with an apple. Different things you can do with apples and fruits. From the apple tree. Talks about stones. Just a few of them as examples, I guess. And then modern tools for ancient arts, and it goes through, what you can use. Like, okay, here we go. The coffee maker is an essential part of my existence for the most part, and this is Dorothy Morrison's what she uses it for. For the same reasons it is to other folks. I, like a good portion of the population, am not a morning person. Having to wait makes it unbearable, but my coffee maker does in a trick in 3 minutes flat. It gives me the time to get my wits together. Here we go. Before my loved ones. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to just look where it talks about why she uses it for magical uses. Hey, what's going on with my light here? We lost light. That's interesting. There we go. I don't know what happened. That's interesting. Huh. Um. Oh, here we go. Okay. I had the water flip the switch and charm the kitchen loudly enough. Perfectly balanced. Okay, so she's using it for brewed she brews her infusions like her teas and stuff. Same with the blender. Instead of using a mortar and pestle, she uses her blender. Um Things like that. So there's different I don't know what happened. It's like gotten darker. I don't know if it's like a battery issue. That's very interesting. Okay. Um she talks about slow cookers. And actually a lot of witches use the slow cookers for like their potpourris and stuff. And then there's a few of the potpourri recipes in here. But it also goes right into, as well as starts out with its spells. It has a whole entire section of spells. An anger calming bath and what you need for it. And the rituals to go with it. So there's all these different spells. We got one here. To attract attention of others. Apathy relief tea, and the ingredients. What else? Stuff about your automobiles if you have issues with your car. What business and success. Communication. There's a whole section on communication spells, and these are sections of like computers. Like everybody has problems with their computers. There's a whole section on consecration spells, spells for courage, creativity spells, and it goes on and on, and it's all in alphabetical order. And then after that, it goes, after it leaves the spell section. Hello. It goes into the afterword in the appendix. And after the appendix here, in the appendix, magical uses of herbs, plants, and flowers. And here we go everything, and this is in alphabetical order. Anger management. This is all the stuff used for anger management, anxiety management, apathy, beauty. So this is herbs. So all those spells that you went through in the sections, all the herbs needed are listed here in the back. So then you look up what herbs you need, and then you just go to the section of the book that has the spells. So you can just know what herbs you're going to need. So I liked this book. This is actually the first book I had bought. And any book since. There's information in this book that I hadn't seen in any other. This is the only Dorothy Morrison book I have read. So I don't know what her other books have in them. But the modern stuff in this book I haven't seen in any other books I've read, because they've been mainly on the ancient stuff, nothing really too modern. So for the first modern book I read, and the only one I've done so far, this is by far out of all the books I've read, my favorite. It was my first one, but it's also my favorite out of all the books I've read. favorite, and subscribe. And if you've read this book, please put down in the comments your opinions on the book and any other books that you'd like me to review, read and review. I could use some summer reading. So leave those in the comments below, and blessed be in my part.